Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and in news that shouldn't shock anybody at all, 400 plus million, 419 million if you believe the numbers. Phone numbers, I wasn't trying for a pun there, phone numbers have now been leaked from a server that they don't know who it's from or where it is, and they say the data and information is old, and they're trying to marginalize it by saying a lot of them are duplicates. So what exactly is going on here? Now let me start by saying a lot of people are going to say that this was a mistake, this was an error, this was negligence, this is old information. But we're talking about an unprotected server, no password. Anybody could have had access to this. And it's originally TechCrunch that breaks the story. And I believe the person's name is last name is Whitaker. And they have already caught him in a little bit of deception. But the idea that this is here with your unique username and your account, and there's other information as well. We just know about the phone numbers and this. But Facebook is kind of acting like no one really accessed this, so no one has to worry about it. But obviously, Whitaker accessed it. Okay, and this goes beyond all the lies they told to Congress, the track, trace, database society that we live in, the fact that Facebook is far from the only one doing this. But let's take a look at this latest article here. This one's out of Forbes. I think they did a pretty damn good job of summing it up. You're seeing it just about everywhere. So we're going to read through a lot of it. Earlier this year, Facebook quietly confirmed that millions of unencrypted Instagram passwords had been stored in plain text online. Think about that. Now, I guess I do have an Instagram by mistake. I've never posted to it. I used to, at the bar I ran, I was running that Instagram, and I guess I started the wrong email, but I've never used it. But I guess it has my email. I don't think it has my phone number, but it probably has whatever password I set up to it, especially since we're storing it in plain text online. Brilliant. Since then, Facebook has been on a less than successful privacy public relations crusade with an off-Facebook privacy tool found to not be quite what it seems, and the revelation that a technical flaw allowed children using the Messenger Kids app to participate in group chats with strangers, but without parental permission. And, you know, my sister uses that Kids app with the kids. In fact, this phone, this latest phone, I can't tell you how great this phone is. Really cheap, unbelievable stuff. And instead of just disabling Facebook, this phone actually lets me uninstall it. I don't even have Facebook on my phone anymore. It's awesome. Forget about Messenger or any of that stuff. It's a gravy train with biscuit wheels, baby. But my sister did communicate with them, and sometimes they'll use it. I try not to use Facebook. I use it less and less and less every single day. All right? This security snafu really couldn't have come at a worse time for Facebook, as it is evidenced by the efforts to minimize the number of phone numbers concerned. Here's everything that we know so far. How did more than 400 million Facebook user phone numbers get exposed? Databases that in total detailed the phone numbers of 419 million users linked to their Facebook account IDs were found to be unprotected by any passwords. This meant that anyone looking for such things could find and access those databases. Breaking the news at TechCrunch, Zach Whitaker revealed that multiple databases across several geographies included 133 million records of U.S.-based Facebook users. Think about that. 133 million, say we're at like 400 million. That's, 35%, right? 35% of the country. Not everybody has a Facebook either. Probably about half of the users of Facebook in this country were exposed. 18 million records in the UK and more than 50 million records in Vietnam. Each one of these data records contained both the Facebook ID unique to every member and the phone number that was listed as being connected to that account. This despite Facebook announcing on April 4th, 2018, that it had made changes to better protect people's information by restricting the access to this data. In that announcement, Facebook said, "We know we have more work to do," which has been confirmed by this massive and massively embarrassing data leak. Now let's stop here before we get into what they're saying, and they're saying we don't really know how this happened. This could be corporate espionage. What do I mean? Well, first of all, a lot of shareholders want Zuckerberg out. I've been very vocal about this. I was reporting on this with We Are Change probably 6-7 months ago ad nauseum. They want Zuckerberg gone. A lot of people want to overtake that company. Okay, and they put him up there in Congress. And before we go over this, I just want to say that now we have Senator Wyden here saying that he wants to actually put him in jail. And I don't think that's a bad idea. I think it's actually a good precedent to set. But I feel like he's going to be the scapegoat when a guy like Peter Thiel or Jack Dorsey or any of those guys do the same damn thing. Bezos, for instance. Popcorn Willie, excuse to set up ping protocol to ping our phones, all under the guise of stopping robocalls. I don't know enough about that to comment on what we're talking about right here, but let's continue. All right. The TechCrunch investigation found that, as well the phone numbers and Facebook IDs, some of the records in these unsecured databases also contained username, gender, and location by country. It is unknown at this time who the database belonged to or how the Facebook data was obtained. The server was not a Facebook one, however. So is this a disgruntled employee? Is this corporate espionage? Is this just sheer laziness of someone who worked for them in the past? I don't know. And this is where they say that the data set is old and appears to have information obtained before we made the changes last year to remove people's ability to find others using their phone numbers. Let me say this also. Facebook's obviously not to be trusted here. Not to be trusted at all. Okay, zero. And here's where they try to cut it down to 210 million of 419 million. But Whitaker, he posted some screenshots, and he says, I don't think that's the truth. Facebook is under a lot of pressure to try to minimize the number of phone numbers that were exposed. All right. So now let's get back into the real nitty-gritty of this situation. Number one, this device right here with its ACR, automated content recognition, ASR, automated speech recognition, AVR, automated video recognition, and all sorts of other tools, okay, is already profiling you through your side apps, Facebook being one of them, Twitter being one of them. But think about all the little sub-games you have as well. You know, I've talked about that article, thousands of apps on your child's phone are spying on them. But it was a lot more than that. Okay, I've talked about Alfonso being one of those leaders for TV programming. And then what came out with Microsoft? Oh, yes, that's right. We were actually recording portions of your conversations that had nothing to do with Cortana and transcribing them so we could make the AI better. So we can make them understand you better. There's always more and more and more of an excuse as they roll this stuff out. And I'm telling you 100%, 100%. This is very, very real. So you have to be careful. How much of your information do you want out there? I don't post on Facebook a lot. I mean, you can go check out my Facebook. Even my Twitter, go check out my Twitter feed. My Twitter feed is 95 to 99% news and this stuff. Why? I think there's something to be said about having some semblance of privacy and a personal life. I think that's an important thing. I think some sort of anonymity is good. Don't get me wrong. I let a lot of you guys in on my walk and talks, on my family life. I'm very open. Lies don't make friends, right? That's the truth. But when you're constantly not telling the truth on social media through pictures you post on Instagram that took you 19 times on a selfie, having fun when you're really miserable with your friends, when you're posting that best life, I can't even stand the sayings these days. Is it really? And what's it really doing to you and the social structure around you? Is it creating happiness and community and bring people together and social consciousness? Or is it creating depression? Is it creating divisiveness? Is it creating jealousy, and really lofty goals on life. In other words, I need to be more like this person because they seem to be having a better time. They're out having more fun. They're with better looking people. They're eating better food. They're in nicer places, blah, 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 blah. Are they happy? Are they really building things? Do they have love in their heart? That's the real question. Or are they constantly second guessing themselves and constantly unhappy with everything they do? Are they creating things? Oh, that's my end rant on that one, guys. I'm doing it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. So please make sure that you are subscribed if you're new to the channel. Thumbs this up, share it. I was sent a clip today of Alex Jones calling me out without saying my name. And I just want to say this. I'm not trying to start drama with that guy, but he lied about me again today. He acted like I was giddy when I did my video. I couldn't have had a more serious tone. I said he was going bankrupt. I never said any such thing. It's kind of sad. I'm probably going to have to do a rebuttal video on that. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad in my little heart, I want to hug the big fella. I want him to come back to reality. And with that being said, this is how I support myself. I support myself through you guys. Because it's not about left or right. I'm not going to tell you about how, the left is taking over. No, I'm going to call it like I see it. When, for instance, Trump does something good, gets us out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, right? Talks about the military-industrial complex. I'm all about it. When Trump, vetoes the bill to get us out of Yemen, which most people don't even think we're involved in, that's a problem. I'm going to call that out. When Trump's administration, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, start escalating things in Syria and working with al-CIA to al-Qaeda, I'm going to call that out. And I think that's very, very important. And so I hope that you guys support voices that aren't going to pander to one side or another or try to play team baseball, but really call it down the middle like it is. And with that being said, I'll see you all on the flip. Thank you very much.